Hello there, and welcome to Fairyland Cottage, and thanks very much for joining me here today. It's the last video of 2022, and we're a couple of days away from the winter solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere. So everything is still getting quiet and slower. Maybe not so much in the outside world, but the days are getting shorter, and it's getting colder here in Ireland. So I'm still taking the opportunity to quieten everything down and be a little bit more still. Terry has been busy building a little lookout tower for the little fairy to watch the birds every morning. It's her favourite little activity. And it got me thinking how we can make nature, I suppose, the TV. She just stands there mesmerised for, gosh, so long while I'm doing a bit of cooking or making the breakfast. I'd love to know how you're all doing. Here at Fairyland, we've got our little daily routine and spending time just connecting with the little fairy. Soaking in those little precious moments. And I was reading recently from an account called Solid Starts. Now, if you're maybe a mother or you're doing baby-led weaning, you might recognise this account. But it said something the other day which I thought is completely relevant for us all, whether we have kids or not. It was talking about this time of year, which can be incredibly busy. There's so much pressure to go and do a lot of things, gifts for people, showing up in different places. And then, of course, there can be colds and flus. And sometimes it can just all get a little bit too much. And they were saying how we really need to put the oxygen mask on ourselves first. And I know I've said it before, but just at this time, meaning that we really need to look after our needs, and sometimes that can feel absolutely impossible with a busy life. And the best thing that we can do is just to let go of some of those pressures. And it just really struck me, because this time coming up to the winter solstice is all about letting go for me. Where can I take that pressure off myself? I realised choosing to live a simple, slow life was really all about taking the pressure off to conform. Because we all know that what normal out there is not necessarily normal or healthy for us. The world has become accustomed to moving incredibly fast, having huge goals. And a lot of us are suffering mentally, physically, emotionally. So the world is telling us what we should be, and we have to really just come back to ourselves, come back to our heart, and connect in what really is true for us, what's right for us at this time. And if it means saying no to things, then it's okay if people are disappointed. As I remember somebody telling me sometime recently that people can handle being disappointed. We don't have to overfunction for everybody else. It's okay to keep life simple and sustainable. Leaves can get incredibly slippy, especially if you have decking. I'm still getting outside every day, albeit a bit colder now. And I'm just gathering all the leaves and putting them on all the flower beds. Nature absolutely loves leaves, and the soil will really thank you for just putting all the mulchy leaves on the beds. So really for us at this time, it's about doing very little, just kind of tidying up little bits in the garden, making sure that everything's kind of winter ready. We still have apples. I have been cooking apples now for months and months and months, and they're still on the ground. The birds and the animals absolutely love them, and there's still loads for us. So I'm just making some apple cider vinegar, and I'll leave the link for the video where I share how to make it. I'd love to know down below, what things are you doing this year, in this season, that is maybe a little bit more sustainable or simple. I've found that my life has gotten a little bit busier looking after a little human, so I've let go of certain things that I did this time last year. Or actually, not even last year, the year before. How time flies. I made cards this year where I cut up old cards and stuck them all together to make new cards. Just little things to take the pressure off. I didn't do as many Christmas decorations as before, namely because we have a little human running around the place, but also just to keep it a little bit easier. I found this year I'm not as overwhelmed, and I think it's because I put those certain things in place. Because as we all know, we can only control our actions and our thoughts. And sometimes I feel even my thoughts are hard to control. Half the time I don't even know what I'm thinking. But if we just help ourselves become a little bit more aware, even if we learn to just breathe, you realize that life is incredibly precious. It's filled with all these little moments, not these big grand gestures. A woman was telling me recently how her little kids, when they were little, they didn't even remember all the big grand gestures she did at the Christmas period. All those magical moments that she thought, they didn't even remember doing them. So like with whether it's kids or family or friends, we can still just keep it simple. The important thing being the connection. And remembering to put our own oxygen mask on first. Every year I'll get inspired to do some new decoration. This one was from somebody on Instagram, so I'll leave the link below. Really simple, using toilet roll holders. And I have stored an incredible amount of them because I use them in the garden when I'm planting seeds. But I found that they don't work that well. So I thought, here's another use for them. And then the glue that I did a few years ago, very simple. I keep mine in the fridge, and once no water gets into it, it can last for a year or so. So when the little fairy's asleep, I'll just do something simple. These willow wreaths I've had for years. A dear friend of mine made them for me. They stay in the attic and they come down every year. I love the tradition of repeating similar things each year. That excitement of going up to the attic and getting the decorations. I know not everybody follows the Christmas tradition, but in Ireland I've grown up with it since birth, and it brings a lot of happy memories of decorating every year. Something else I did this year to just take the pressure off myself was I just used what I had. So this red ribbon, it's all I had in my ribbon box. I could have gone out, I could have bought another one, but there's just so much we have already. I love that I've added another little stocking. And I kept the mantelpiece very bare this year. A few simple cones, a little bit of pine, some dried hydrangea. And I saw online somebody hanging a wreath from the ceiling and I thought it was perfect. Little hands can't reach it. And it's like a pretty little mobile. As I've said before, I've found since having a little human that there's more stuff in the house. So I think it's another reason why I've tried to keep everything a little bit more simple this year. It definitely keeps the overwhelm at bay. And these cones, we have had these cones for years and years. And of course, if you want to paint your door red, it definitely adds to the Christmas feel. We've been getting loads of sweet chestnuts. Now these were from a friend. We didn't collect them this year. I went out with the little fairy and the squirrels had got them all. But it's a lovely tradition. You can roast them on top if you have a log burning stove or some type of stove. You just have to slit them first. And they're wonderfully sweet and soft. So I think I've stripped back more this year. Everything then gets a little bit of space to have more meaning. I feel like I'm able to enjoy these moments more because there's not pressure on myself that I'm putting on myself to be doing loads of different things. A simple little moment of the little fairy trying sweet chestnut for the first time. Making a little wreath. That's enough. And it really just got me thinking, in life, how we're always just enough. We're all flawed human beings walking this earth. We're all loved dearly. We are enough. It's completely enough what we're doing. So let's chat down in the comments below. I'd love to know a few things that you're taking the pressure off yourself this year, just a little bit. And I hope you have a little bit of relaxation over the next few days leading up to the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, where everything goes inward and is still. So I look forward to seeing you all in the new year. May you all have a wonderful time over this season. And I will see you next year and I'll chat to you in the comments. And as they say, bye for now, and I'll see you on the other side. Sending you all our love from Fairyland to you all around the world.